Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the NJ1ST podcast. My name is Ryan McDonald. I have another guest with me returning to the NJ1ST podcast, Damon Galdo. He's running for New Jersey Congressional District 1. That's Camden County, all of Camden County, a bunch of Gloucester County, and some other places, but we'll get into it. We're going to have a discussion regarding national politics. He's running for Congress, the House of Representatives. Thanks for joining us today, Damon.
Thank you for having me again.
Awesome. And for viewers of the NJ1ST podcast, have any of your candidates contact me, have them come on, have a free speech, open discussion like this. You get to know Damon more. Maybe he's open to criticism. If you give some comments, he'll take them into consideration. And you see that, maybe gives you some, you want to join him on his campaign, contact him. He can use your help. And we're going to talk about schools to begin. So in New Jersey, we just went through that whole 2023 election, and I wrote an op-ed where it showed Jack Ciattarelli, kind of agreed with the rest of the politicos, saying the school parental rights fight kind of took it too far, and that's the reason why the Republicans lost. But there's plenty of blame to go around. What's your take on the 2023 school education, the Board of Ed, all that happened?
Well, when I go into the school policies and what Governor Murphy passed, I don't think you could take it too far when it comes to your children. So I like Jack Ciattarelli thinks we took it too far, or people took it too far with that. I don't think you can go too far with that. The children are the future of this country, and people that have children know that, and they know that they care enough about their children to do whatever it takes to protect them. And what the school policies are. And when I found out, and I'll go with this, when I found out that a boy that says he's a girl, or vice versa, girl says a boy, but there's a boy that uses my daughter's bathroom, and a boy that uses her locker room when they get changed for gym. And the girls hold up a towel because they don't want the boy to see him getting changed. And they, two girls will hold it up, and my daughter's in front, and then she'll switch off when she's changed. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. This is out of control. And when I read all the policies about it, I did a video too. It's on my Facebook page. And everything I talked about is highlighted on there. And anyone that wants to see it can look it up on my Facebook page. But they don't have to tell me that. They don't have to tell the boys' parents that. And I'm just using the boy as a reference because it'd be a girl using the boys' bathroom too as well. But they don't have to tell their parents that either. So if a boy goes into school and says he identifies as a girl, they're going to treat him like he's a girl, and even treat him to whatever name he wants to be called by. And they don't have to tell his own parents. They don't have to tell me that there's a boy in my daughter's locker room, a boy that's using my daughter's facilities. And I don't care when somebody is 18 years old plus and they want to make that decision and they think that they're, it's gender dysphoria. I'll still call it a mental illness. It is. But, I'm not going to be upset with anybody at all that wants to make any type of changes like that when they're an adult. But when a child does it, I don't need my child or anyone else's child to be subjected to that, because they don't even know who they are to begin with. I don't know if we talked about this last time, but I tell everyone the same thing. Did we talk about the Spider-Man thing?
No, but I would like to hear it. But I know that you would appreciate this because we spoke on mental health before, and I'll give the progressives their tout of the horn, is that we use words like mental disorder, a mental health disorder. I myself have Tourette's. It's a mental health disorder, because if we use mental illness, like myself with Tourette's, then they say I can't own a gun, stuff like that. A mental illness, it's ill. But you're right that they most certainly, it's mental health. It's a disorder, just to say the words. And I know that you would agree with that.
Yeah. So where I'm going is my son and I, we watched Spider-Man. It was the latest one. So he was 4 at the time. And for about 10 minutes, he thought he was Spider-Man, and he's slinging webs and everything like that. And we had fun with it. But I had to tell him that he's not Spider-Man. because if I told him he was Spider-Man, he would believe me. And then if he climbed up on a rooftop and tried to sling a web to the neighbor's house and fell off, I don't think it would work out well with him for him at all. So I tell this story all the time. They're going to believe what you tell them. So it's up to the parents, and that's the thing with the schools. The parents need to be involved. They need access to be involved, to know what they're teaching their children in school. Math, English, history, regular stuff. They don't need to teach them about gender affirming care or anything like that. And tell them, when I was growing up, you could say, you could be what you want when you grow up. Sure, you could be a carpenter, you could be an astronaut. That was what it is. Now in schools, you could be what you want. You could be whatever gender you want, and that.
Yeah, and I think that really hits on the point of that it's the mental health disorder, like we were talking about. It's not just a childish thing, because you were talking about the Spider-Man with your child and you had to correct him when he was a child. These are individuals that are 16, 17, 18 and plus. They should have the maturity to understand the difference between a male and a female, things like this. So it is the mental health. And I forgot where I was going to go with that, but yeah.
No, that's fine.
With the schools. I remembered. Sorry. So, sorry. Since you're running for Congress, this isn't really a question for Congress, but maybe you could draft legislation for schools that have individuals with mental health disorders, gender dysphoria. How would you help a parent? Because like we were alluding to before, it's really on the parents to educate these individuals, even when they're 16, 17, 18. If they're not mature enough, the parents, it's on them, not the schools. And what do you say to parents that have doctors telling them, if you do not allow your child who has gender dysphoria go through gender affirming care? Now, I know these are the words that they use, but the end result is if you do not allow them to do this, they have a high chance of committing suicide. And I know that there's a lot of different demographics that have a high chance of committing suicide. I believe white straight men are the highest in America and by far for committing suicide. But what do you say to parents who have mentally ill gender dysphoria children who it's either suicide or you allow us to be transgender? Any thoughts on that?
Well, what I would say to parents is that children believe what you tell them. Their brains aren't developed enough. So it's just like, if my daughter was born, if I told her that she was a boy from the day she was born, then she would believe she's a boy. Just like they believe in Santa Claus. They believe in Santa Claus because Santa Claus, they believe he's real because I tell them that he's real. But that's a healthy thing. They're looking forward to toys. And then, I explain to them I'll also explain to them what Christmas is, not just Santa Claus. And, because my religious beliefs, I'm Catholic, and I tell them about, the day Jesus was born and all that. But what I tell them, they're going to believe. And that's the same thing with any other parent tell their children. They're going to believe it. Their brains are not fully developed. And whatever you tell them, they're going to believe it. And let me think about this.
So you think that the influence of media in the schools are making them believe the kids are believing what they want, right?
Yeah. Well, think about it. Look at like TikTok and everything else.
Okay.
Well, I don't let my kids watch TikTok at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many things out there, and people just talk about different things. So you can be, for a boy, or you'd be a girl. For a girl, you'd be a boy, and it's not. Men are men, women are women. That's it. Right. If you have gender dysphoria, you do, and sorry, you have it.
I think those people need help. They should get help. Yes.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't be politicized. Should they?
No, they should not be politicized whatsoever. No, it shouldn't be an issue politically whatsoever. And if that person wants to make life changes to themselves when they're adults, then I don't have a problem with it. That's your decision. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I mean, I will try to help you out as much as I can. But if you're an adult and you make that decision, that's out of my hands. But just don't push it on my children or anyone else's child that don't even understand their own bodies yet. You can't give a child puberty blockers. My son is 5, my daughter's 10. So my son plays with my daughter a lot and she's older, and he'll play with her dolls sometimes because she'll play with him, and and she'll have her dolls. I'm not going to go there and tell him you can't play with dolls.
Right.
I wouldn't let him play with his sister, but I'm not going to look at it and like, oh, he's playing with dolls, he must be a girl. So I put that on the parents. It's the parents' fault for going that direction.
And I like the opinions that you just had and the way that you laid it out. It was more of the culture we have in America, and that's what's feeding it into our kids. My mom likes to say that it's the environment that's influencing us, whether it's the technology, the social media, or the news, anything, the environment. And we can end it here. Whatever else you have thoughts on education in schools along the same cultural lines, but to point out something you said with TikTok, China does not allow that on their TikTok. They have TikTok because they created it through ByteDance or something like that.
Yes.
But they have a very nationalistic, a very homogeneous cultural TikTok. And over on the West, which TikTok throttles the algorithm, they get to choose what we see. It's degeneracy, it's intermingling of genders, intersectionality of genders, all this cultural Marxism. But yeah, it's great that you acknowledge that. Anything else on schooling and education culturally?
No, culturally, no. That's it. Well, unless you
can go on forever.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, so we can move on to the next one. But like I said, I put it on the parents. The parents need to realize that a man is a man and a woman is a woman, and I'm not taking that away from anybody. Taking away any rights from people that have gender dysphoria, and if they want to make that decision when they're adults, then have at it. I'm not telling anybody how to live their life. I'm just saying stay away from the kids. That's all.
And if anybody has made it this far through the interview, and a lot of people get canceled for the stuff that we're talking about. Let's be honest. If anybody has made it through this far and you're still on the edge of your seat and you're mad at the words that we're saying, there are detransitioners. There are people who have went through this already and realized it was a mistake. And, now they want to educate people that it's irreversible. There's things, but there's different opinions to all of this. I understand, but just take that in mind. So we'll move on to the next. Anything else?
No. I was just saying you can look up the stats on how many people are more suicidal after they transition when they're younger and realize that they made a mistake.
Right.
They're very comparable.
And again, this isn't a takeaway from statistics from suicide, which are huge in other demographics, but we were talking about a specific one there. Right.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. It's crazy. So let's move on to
get a lot of backlash from this one, but I don't care. It's just the truth. Let kids be kids. Let them grow up and be kids. Let their imagination run wild, and that's it. Adults, have at it. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life.
So. Next one, we will go with immigration. I was on recently the Revive USA America podcast with Billy Prempe and Dave Herrera. I gave my 3 points for New Jersey, and Billy Prempe, running for Congress again, a federal elected position, gave his 3 points, and they were great as usual. And he said the number one was probably immigration. And we are getting the huge numbers of illegal immigration. At the end, I'll probably bring it back up, legal immigration, but let's talk about illegal immigration right now. And it's, I've been seeing more and more videos, the invasion talk, but most recently I binge watch YouTube vloggers that go to different countries. They show the food over there. They show the hotels. There's this one British bloke who's so crazy that he went to the Darien Gap, where the migrants travel from Mexico, I think even Colombia, to Mexico, all the way up to America. And he went through it. He showed it all. It's basically a 50-50 suicide mission, 50-50 chance you're going to make it or get raped on the way. He even showed, he got the bracelet that in Congress they bring, and they show the bracelets that the coyotes give to he wore that. So there's literally YouTubers who are going and showing us live footage of it happening right now. This is maybe an existential crisis for Southern America, I'd say. Let's hear your thoughts on illegal immigration.
Well, first I gotta start with the bracelets. The fact that Secretary Mayorkas, when Ted Cruz asked him,
that's right.
What are these? and he said he has no idea. How does he not know? I mean, he knows that he should be impeached as well. This is wide open border policy. It's its own purpose. There's no way we haven't had an influx of immigrants. We're actually set to mark the record for one single month of legal immigrants coming over, and that's one thing that I tell my union members when a union meeting, and I get up to give a speech, and they support Democrats all the time, and that's their main thing. We got to support this person, that person. I'm like, well, they're actually supporting wide open borders. I said, do you realize what that is? I said, we have a 10 million at this point, 10 million cheaper workforce that just came into our country. That's going to stop us, to have the ability to negotiate for raises to combat inflation, because the union member, sorry, excuse me, union members are going to get undercut by a
the American worker.
Yeah, and then you want to keep backing these Democrats that are okay with that are behind Biden and the wide open border policy. And I try to explain it to them. It gets through to some people, but some people are just
they don't know.
Yeah, they're hard at do their homework. I tell people all the time. I say, I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm just giving you the facts, and I'm just asking you to look it up for yourself, and look what it's going to do. I'm not asking you to believe me, but just do your due diligence and look it up yourself. And this time with the numbers, like I fumbled last time, I'm going to get my notes here because I have the numbers down here. I mean,
read them off.
So basically, the American taxpayer household, it costs them $1,115 per year in New Jersey for illegal immigrants, and that's a household. That's not individuals. So collectively, per year in this country, it's $182 billion per year. That's what it costs the American taxpayer throughout the country. And according to the Farris study, this was in the beginning of 2023, by the way, 697,000 illegals live in our state, in New Jersey. 240,000 were U.S. born from illegals.
Right.
And so illegal households add 138,441 students to our schools. The average cost to New Jerseyans is $5,625 per illegal alien. That's a lot of money. So then you're looking at $2.14 billion in education. Then with police, legal, and corrections, $779 million. Add healthcare, public assistance, government service, and expenses, you're looking at a total $5.27 billion just New Jersey taxpayers. $5.27 billion just in New Jersey alone.
Wow.
And that's
astronomical.
That's New Jersey. I can imagine what Chicago is going through and New York's going through, and they're all Democrat-run cities, and they're complaining about it. But they don't want to blame Biden. They're blaming Texas, Greg Abbott, and they're saying, "Oh, it's his fault. He's sending them here." Well, you're a sanctuary city, so where else are you going to go? You know how much it's costing Texas? It's amazing the amount of money, because and our healthcare. It's what was it? 6.5% in January is projected to go up. 6.5% that we're going to have to pay if you want insurance, private insurance, and that's because they're people.
There's more people.
Yeah. People come in with no insurance. They get sick. They have children, and it's fine. They're people. I'm not saying anything bad about
just
them.
Numbers.
It's just numbers. That's all it is. And but it's costing the American taxpayer money to pay for people that aren't from this country and didn't legally immigrate to this country. When
and there's Right. And there's veterans who were promised things, or retirees who were promised things. And now we have these different numbers coming in. So it's fudging these numbers, have to move this over here. These were Americans that were promised stuff because of the hard labor that they either worked 30, 40, 50 years straight, or they served in American wars. I agree with you. And in New Jersey, I'm sorry to cut you off. In New Jersey, we only successfully, up here in North New Jersey, Sussex County is the only anti-sanctuary state, because the whole entire New Jersey is a sanctuary state county. But up in Sussex County, we were able to make it an anti-sanctuary state. We tried to get other counties to join us. None of them wanted to. But so my question for you, if you were going to be elected to Congress, because I have that question towards Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas. I don't know why he doesn't do a lot much more. He's starting to a little bit more now, but a lot of people give excuses. I don't buy it. So my question for you would be those buses. I guess everybody's likes to be political with sending buses of undocumented immigrants to Martha Vineyard, or, from Florida to Philadelphia. Guess what? They're coming to Jersey too. So I found it really odd that Republicans cheered that on. Is that a good strategy and I understood their strategy. They wanted to introduce the legal immigration to New York City. It's always at the border. They don't understand the thousands of people that are tens of thousands of people that are coming over, I guess, daily. I'm not sure. I'm not from the border. I don't know it that much, but they want us to understand the gravity of the situation. So they bust the illegals over here. Is that something you would be in favor of?
Well, I'll say it's another political ploy, and
right.
that's
strategy, I guess.
Yeah, it is. And again, it's another double-edged sword. Texas is getting overrun. They have to pay a lot of money. They're actually paying $1 billion for their own border wall that they're trying to build.
That's right. That's what it was.
Now their own police are allowed to apprehend, not just border control, apprehend and send them back across the border. So it is costing Texas.
A little late.
Yeah, yes, it is very late.
It's a little late, Greg Abbott, geez, but
yes, it is. It is very late. So I blame Republicans too, but a state shouldn't be responsible for it.
Okay.
The federal government is responsible for border control to secure our borders. And I mean, you can blame Abbott as much as you want. Yes, should he acted a lot faster? I'm sure he should have. But did he have the money to do it? I'd have to look into that. I don't know if he had the money to do it or not.
Right. Or like the legality, like when people, it wasn't legal. Like, I don't care if it's legal at that point, but it might have not been illegal. It might have not been legal. I don't know. So
yeah, and that just goes for Arizona as well too. But it's either way, the federal government should secure our borders. That's hands down. There's no question there. So all this wouldn't be going on if the federal government stepped up and secured our borders and let people come in legally. And the Remain in Mexico policy it worked. And but Biden and this administration, their policies are funding the cartels billions of dollars a year. They're killing 300 people a day. It's like 100,000 a year with fentanyl. Right. That's coming from China through Mexico borders. And why is that okay? You're okay with killing American citizens and letting them die. Now, I will say anyone that chooses to do a drug, that's their decision to do it. But the access to have it and the as poisonous as fentanyl is, some kids, just try it for the first time because people were pressured to do stuff like that. And fentanyl is it's like 100 times more potent than heroin. Right. So kids take a pill and then they die. So at 300 people per day between the ages of 18 and 45, it's the number one killer.
I've known plenty of people, millennials. Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you allow that? Why would you enrich the Mexican cartel with human trafficking and make a story about women getting raped and everything like that, trying to get over, to the United States. And I mean, there's so many kids that are unaccounted for too that came over. They can't even tell us that where they are. Well, where are they? Are are sex workers now, or they're working as slaves somewhere. I mean, I don't know, but if you just lose that many children, this is the United States of America. you can't just lose people. You have to protect your border. We're the most sophisticated country on the face of the earth. You can't just say, "Oh, well, I don't know where there are 100 million. I'm sorry, 100,000 gotaways, that came into the country, over the past 3 months, where they are. And border control. They got the picture of the guy crossing the border and with a rifle. Someone got a picture of him. I don't know where it came from, but it was on the news. And there was no border agents that could patrol that area because they're processing people. I mean, it's amazing the amount of people. I don't know if you saw it on the news. Fox covers it a lot with their drones, but you just see the encampments of people just standing in line to come in, and there's no one saying no, you can't come in. It's like, okay, come on in, we'll process you, give you a court date, and go wherever you want. And
even the airplane ticket.
Yeah, and we'll send you wherever you want.
Right.
I mean, nothing about the open border is right. And so that's what I was getting to. So Greg Abbott, yes, he could have acted sooner. There's other things that he could have done, but you can't, second guess an operation from an armchair. Everyone could have done something better.
And I know Greg Millet, for running for U.S. Senate in 2024 for New Jersey, he wants to make his way over to Eagle Pass down there on the border. If you're open and willing to join us along that trip, maybe we can organize something like that. It'd be great to see with our own eyes, because we are so far from the border. And I understand that we are impacted, but not as much as the border literally down south is impacted with the migrants. It's overwhelming. But that would be great, something we can line up, and we could segue this over to something I think you can talk on, because it has to do with the workforce, legal immigration. But is there anything you want to finish up on illegal immigration?
No, good with that.
Great. Okay, so started in probably 2020. I heard Tom Malininsky, he was a Congressional District 7 congressman for New Jersey, and I recorded him, and he made a speech saying, no Americans are going to work these type of jobs. And what type of jobs was he saying? He was talking about mowing the lawn, taking care of elderly. But he hit a nerve with me, because I joined my cousin's company that year, and it was mowing lawns, an American company mowing lawns. And we worked, we don't want other people coming here taking our jobs, stuff like that stupid South Park meme. But that was very degrading to someone like me. I went to school for political science. I have a degree, and I'm still willing to work those jobs. You can make money. You can make a living off these jobs. You can. I just need a chance to, thrive. Give me an opportunity. But he said, no, we need immigrants, legal immigrants. He was saying illegal immigrants, but we want to talk about legal immigrants right now. So the legal immigration hindering American workforce. That's what I want to talk about. There's two, basically. The H-1B visas. These are white collar immigrants coming over to America. Very good opportunities over here in America. People very smart over outside of America, just like we have smart Americans, but they want opportunity in America. They come over here, they get an H-1B visa. For just a regular immigrant who's going to come over and work, I believe it's just a green card for residency and working. I've worked with them myself. I work in warehouse labor in the warehouses, not the labor that you're used to, very hard labor. I do landscape. I did some landscaping, but that's nothing compared to the concrete stuff that you guys do. Not concrete. You do the woodworking, right?
Concrete and everything.
Right. All that stuff. Yeah. But maybe you can give me a better education on immigration, legal immigration, as it relates to a workforce, maybe more skilled workforce like yours, or is there plenty of Americans that are skilled for your type of labor?
Yes. I mean, talking about legal immigrants, yes. And I'll give it to them. They work hard. Oh, and yeah. Landscaping, whatever it may be, that's an honorable job. If you have a job and you go to work every day, you pay your taxes, and you take care of your family, it's honorable no matter what you do. And I believe in that 100%. And if you want to talk about what's that new AI chat
GPT, yep.
Yeah. that's going to replace a lot of jobs. I mean, the thing, writes its own news articles and everything else, so it's going to replace a lot of people. But what you're not going to replace is people that do hard labor. You're not going to have AI mow your lawn. You're not going to have that, build you a building, repair your highways and roads and bridges. So manual labor is not going to be replaced. You can't do it. I mean, unless in the far future, we have robots that do it, but that's far away. But no, they're always going to be needed. Someone's always going to need a house built. Someone's always going to need a plumber to come to their house and snake their toilet. Someone's always going to need an electrician. And something's wrong with their power. Someone's always going to need a carpenter to hang a door for them. These are important jobs that build America.
Now, my criticism for Tom Malninsky is he said we don't have workers that are willing to work those jobs. Do you think that there are some jobs that Americans aren't willing to work? Could be a fair criticism. I don't think so.
I would say some. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say some, because it was pushed in everyone's mind that you can't get a job unless you go to college. I had this conversation with my sister on Christmas Day.
Me.
And and she said to me, you have to go to college or you're not going to be able to get a job. And I said, well, you got your degree in engineering and you wound up selling alarm systems for ADT. And she actually made more money than what she did when she was in engineering. She made more money with that. I said, and again, unfortunately, she's on disability now. She has metastatic breast cancer. I think I told you about that before. But yeah, but she's doing okay. So we had the argument. I said, well, you don't necessarily need to. I said, a lot of people go to college for wasted degrees. I said, my wife did the same thing. We went and talked to a college counselor, and she did it after we were married as an adult. She went at night, and she went for 6 years and couldn't get a job in the field that she went to get a degree for, and she wound up doing something else. Mm-hmm. So I said, you don't necessarily need college. And I think college is overrated, not to the point where if you want to be a lawyer, or doctor, but yeah, but all the other classes that they have, get your degree in paralegal studies. That's what I went for. And the college counselor told him, yeah, you can make this amount of money. And then when she went to get a job, they wanted 2 years experience. And then,
they probably wanted her to take another class.
And then so we'll start off at $11 an hour, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But she was told that she was going to make this amount of money. I mean, kids go to school for, I forget who said it. Might have been Tucker Carlson one time. Lesbian dance theory. Yeah. And they pay this money
in debt. In debt so much.
Yeah. And then you come out with all this debt. What are you going to do? So I think not all of it, obviously. No way all of it. But there's a lot that is overrated going to college. But you're always going to need labor workers in some way, shape, or form. And I think that's a good thing. And it pays well. The unions pay very well. We're self-sustained. We don't take any tax money from the government or from taxpayers. I mean, unless we're building a federal building or something like that, but we're self-sustained. We have a developer wants to build a building. They hire, someone like me that works for a company, it's a general contractor. And then in turn, we hire a bunch of subcontractors that includes plumbers, electricians, iron workers, so forth, and they build the building. And you're always going to need that. And, and it pays well, but we pay in our own pension, we pay our own annuity, and we pay in our own health care. We don't rely on taxpayer dollars for any of it. That's why I'm a big proponent of the trade unions. There's other unions that are taxpayer funded that I'm not a proponent of. But if you're self-sustaining, then sure. And you're always going to need them.
I'm going to hit the nail in the coffin on this one just so we can move on. But maybe you can enlighten me. Maybe you're not sure, but for instance, I work in warehouses. It's very much not a skilled position. It's just a lot of turnover rate, and they hire a lot of immigrants, and then they come to America. They live here, but they always send money back. They always vacation back. They have a loyalty back to that nation. It's their home nation. I don't blame them. But I do know that there are plenty of Americans here looking for jobs that would take these jobs. There's meaning the number, we have enough. In your field of work, skilled, is there not enough skilled laborers in America? Maybe that's something that you definitely need immigrants for. Skilled labor? I'm not sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take as many as we can for skilled labor.
Meaning, is there not enough American skilled laborers?
I'm
not sure. Maybe you don't know.
That's a good question. I mean, I'd have to think about that. But even if it's a warehouse, it's still a job. I don't mind if legal immigrants come over here and they get a job in a warehouse. I don't mind if they come over legally and get into the unions and become a skilled laborer. We have apprenticeship programs that are free. If you get in and pass the test, my union dues pays for the school. And just like every other carpenter that goes to work every day, we pay union dues, and it pays for the teachers to teach, I would say kids to adults, depending on what time they want to get in, and to go through a 5-year apprenticeship program. And they teach them as they go to work as well. But yeah, I'd have to think about it. If we have enough skilled labor in this country.
The only reason I ever was introduced to that, it was through economic theory, and I think you touched on it before, is that it affects the wages for if you have so many people to pick from, even if it's skilled laborers, if you have so many skilled laborers to pick from, it affects the wages just as much as the entering of women into the workforce would as well do something like that. For instance, I was against Mike Testa down in South Jersey, who promoted women in warehouses. He wanted women to keep joining warehouses. He wants more women to work, more women to work. If we have that many to work, I'm not sure. It's just a different way of approaching the workforce economically. It's interesting. But do you know about that? The wages? Yeah, it'll affect the wages, immigrants.
Yeah, it will. But what I said about legal immigrants coming across and 10 million cheaper workforce coming over, a lot of them that come over, they were looking for work, and they have certain skills. They work labor jobs in their country. Now, they're not going to be up to OSHA standards in this country or anything like that. But I know a lot of non-union contractors that hire illegal immigrants because they will work a lot cheaper. And it takes away from union jobs. Once you have that, you put out a bid on the project, then it goes non-union as opposed to union, because you have a lot of illegals working for you. Then that's what's going to undercut the unions. And I believe in the union, and I believe it's a good paying job. And that's what I meant by undercutting our wages by illegal.
Okay.
But I would say that most of them come over are probably skilled in some way, shape, or form. But then you see, a lot more accidents too. A lot more people getting hurt on job sites because they're not properly trained. They might know the skill, they might know how to build something, but they don't work in a proper way to keep themselves safe. So one of my biggest things when I run a project is I want everyone to come to work and go home to their family and work safely. Like, get the job done as fast as possible. Sure, work hard, but everyone's got to go home to their family, and that's my biggest thing. And I've seen different accidents. I've seen. I won't go into it all the way. I've seen some non-union workers on a lull, which is like an all-terrain forklift, pretty much standing on a piece of plywood, and they're 3 stories in the air, and they're working on the facade, of a building. And I'm like, wow, these guys would just fall off. And I've seen it. I've seen people that are in my profession, in the unions that died too, because they just don't think, they don't pay attention, and they get complacent with safety. But the non-union workers a lot, and plus the illegal immigrants come over. They'll do anything to get a job. They'll work for a lot less, and they'll do things that are unsafe to make a living, and I've seen a lot of them die because of it or get seriously injured.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be different road. So
no, yeah, I appreciate you talking on that because it is such a highly intellectual academic problem that we have, and it can be addressed. And I appreciate you bringing that up. If anyone who's watching has any input, wants to contact us or come on and educate us further, I'm sure that we can help you as much as you can help us. But we'll go on to the next one, which I have written down. It has to do with Trump, but Colorado, the Supreme Court, they ruled and threw him off. But I guess the Colorado GOP petitioned and got him back on. So we can talk about that whole thing. I know you wanted to touch on the 14th Amendment, but I guess we're going to go into the topic of ballot access, Donald Trump against the GOP in a sense, and, well, the Uni Party, against the Uni Party. Yeah. So how you want to start off that? Go ahead. Your first thoughts.
So I'm sorry. Repeat the question.
The Colorado ballot access, Donald Trump was thrown off, but now he's back on, and the other states are going to try and follow. We can talk about, I know you wanted to talk about the 14th Amendment, the justification they thought they could throw him off the ballot was for insurrection, whatever your first thoughts are, and then we'll continue talking on that.
Well, I mean, I would say I listened to some of the impeachment hearings, impeachment inquiry hearings with Joe Biden. And hearing the Democrats talk about it, all they talk about is January 6th, and how Trump is leading this whole inquiry. Well, he's not. I mean, I can't say it firsthand that he's not, but I believe that he's not. They have evidence with the laptop of Hunter Biden that Joe Biden could be compromised. He's our president, and all the emails that were sent and the pseudonyms with his emails that he was going back and forth, the 18,000 emails that he had. So it's an inquiry. It's not an impeachment. It's not what the Democrats did to Trump, that they just went for a straight impeachment. This is an inquiry to find out more information. And the Democrats are up in arms about all of it. They're saying, oh, this is just, payback from, from Trump. But impeachment is as serious as a declaration of war, for Congress, and it's that serious. And the fact that it's become, the new norm in this country just shows that we have a serious problem. And if you want to try to go as far as take away people's rights to vote for the candidate they want, and you want to try to imprison your political opponent, just because they pose a threat to you, and if you want to try to take them off of a ballot in the state, we have a lot of problems in this country. We have it's serious. This has never happened like this before. I think there was an impeachment. The last time there was impeachment was Bill Clinton. Before that was, I can't even remember how long ago. And then now you have two presidents in a row talking about this, and I believe the Democrats opened up Pandora's box. They rung that bell, and once you ring that bell, it can't be unrung. And it's a very slippery slope that we're on, and we have to start looking at this and say, all right, we have to stop, slow it down. And that's why I think that the politicians that we have now, especially lifelong politicians, and I'm not going to blame all of them, but a lot of them, they're lost touch with the people, and they're all about they're self-serving, and they're all about their own power. Because after all, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And when your government's not working for you anymore, it's time to build a new one, maybe just a little further out west. And I think it needs to be revamped, because they got us in this mess. We trusted them. We elected them, and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's that simple. I like to keep things simple, simplify everything. It's like reducing it down to the smallest, number down to the smallest fraction. I like to keep things simple. but it's not working.
Yeah, I don't think we can keep this simple at all, especially with that whole the ballot access and the different states, and even the electoral college isn't even simple,
Yeah, well,
unfortunately.
no, I mean, I like to keep things simple, and as far as I'm going to explain it, that they're
Right.
all of it, and it's not working. So it needs
Mhm.
to go. It needs to go. We have to stop the infighting. We need to work together. It's fine if you disagree with me. It's fine if I disagree with you, and we can have the conversation and work through it. But now it's gotten to a point where our government focuses just on fighting each other, focusing on keeping their power, and do not care about the American people. Do not care what everyone's going through. They don't care about the struggles that with inflation. And, like I said before, with putting food on your table, gas in your car, and working so hard every day, and still not being able to keep up with your bills. They're
Mhm.
they're more worried about themselves, and that's my major problem. Because I said before that I never aspired to be a politician, and to this day, I still don't want to be. But after seeing what's going on, I damn well want to be. I want to. I don't care if I serve 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms, whatever it might be. But as long as I get in there and make a difference, then that's what I'm trying to do, and that I feel like I've done my job, because I'll do what it takes. Because I don't. My children and children of this country are more important to me than anything else, and I will do what it takes, and I will fight as hard as I possibly can to make a difference. And I don't care what anybody else thinks. So
Awesome. I don't think it was last time that we had you on, but this time around, now you have primary challengers, I believe, at least one, I think. And so, how are you going to approach the primary? I always tell people the advice that got from Thomas Massey Jr. and a bunch of other people. You vote for the person in the primary that you think is the best, no matter what, party affiliation, anything. The person in the primary, but then the party in the general. That would be the proverbial Jack Ciattarelli. You know, Republicans didn't vote Jack Ciattarelli in 2021. If you're a Republican, you probably should vote for the Republican candidate. So vote for the person in the general or primary and the party in the general. How is the primary looking down towards you? Do you know anything of it yet, or?
I don't know anything about him. Nicholas Whitelock.
I have no idea.
I know
Yeah.
his name. I don't know about him. I tried to look into him a little bit. He's an entrepreneur and realtor, as far as I know. But that's fine. I'm welcome to primary. The only thing that always made me mad is when candidates get upset when they're primaried. If you get upset
Yeah.
when you're primary, it's everyone's right to primary somebody. It's everyone's right to run for office. So
Mm-hmm.
if you get upset that you're primaried and you make a big deal about it, that means that you're not in this for the people. You're more in this for yourself. You care more about yourself than anything.
Or the
I've seen
party.
it. Yeah, yeah. Well, I've seen that. I've seen people get highly upset, and to where if they lose the primary, they refuse to back the person that they lost to.
Right.
And yeah, if you want to stick with your party and you have the same beliefs, if you won't back the person that you lost to, then again, that shows me that you're in it for yourself. You're not in
Mm-hmm.
it to actually make a difference and serve your constituents. So I welcome it.
Cool.
If he wins or whoever else jumps in after that, and whoever wins, as long as they're in line with my views, which I'm sure they would be if they're grassroots conservatives. I'm sure you know I'm sure they will be. But
You got to vote the party in the general.
yeah, but I will get behind them, and if there's things that I don't like about their ideas, I'll talk to them about it. I'll
Of
have that
course.
conversation. That's what it's about, having a conversation, and I'll talk
Mhm.
to them about it and say, well, listen, I don't agree with this, and I'm not afraid to have the conversation, but I will still get behind them. I'm not going to be a sore loser, but I
So
don't plan on.
if you were to distance yourself from, I know that you guys haven't mentioned anything, but you want to make a stance. What kind of candidate do you want people to know you as right off the bat in the primary? They want you. What kind of candidate are you going to be?
The only candidate that can beat Norcross. There's
Okay.
no one out there that there's no one by far out there in District 1 that could beat Norcross other than me. Now, I'm not.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I'm on top of the world and I'm, that that's special, but there's no one out there that's going to beat Norcross. And the reason why is because of the union thing. The unions are going to be really big in this election, and Norcross was a union electrician at some point way back in the 1900s.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so when I talk to people on the job site and they see all the money they lost in their annuity and all the policies that like I said before, last interview, he has done good things for the union, but that's in the now, not in the future. We have to stop living in the now and move and look at the future. So if he has done a few good things for the union, yes, he has, but the future, like we talked about earlier, about the wide open border policies and all that, that's going to kill the unions. And he's not looking at that. But and people on the job site that I talk to all the time, they know that. And they're not going to vote for him, and they're not going to vote Democrat because they're tired of watching their retirement savings disappear. They want to retire. Some guys are in their late 50s, and even mid 60s, and they're still working.
I say that to my, sorry to cut you off, but I say that and that it's because it hits really home to me that I say that to my parents. I'm working next to people as old as my parents, and my parents are retired because they were able to get retirement. But I can't imagine if they lost their pension, if they lost their retirement 401k or whatever, and had to go back into the workforce, which these people who work next to me, 63-year-old men doing the same labor I'm doing in a warehouse. It's not that hard, but for a 63-year-old man, it is. And they had to go back into the workforce because of their retirements going dry and stuff like that. But yeah,
people recognize that. I mean, nothing hits harder than the wallet, and people work their entire lives, and they want to enjoy retirement. Raise your kids. Enjoy raising your kids. They see them grow older, grandkids, and then when you have grandkids, you're retired and you get to play with your grandkids. And the best part about it is you can give them back, to the parents after a day or so, So
and then for Christmas, give them really loud gifts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they want to buy my daughter a drum set. I'm like, no. I said, no way. No drum
That's
sets.
Funny.
But that's what people are noticing. That they're watching, their future disappear from their eyes, and they have to work harder. And they paid into it. They paid their dues, and they're not getting the rewards from it. And that's the problem. And all the union guys are seeing it, and that's what's going to push me over the top in Norcross. Now, like I said, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a very uphill battle, but that will give me an advantage over any other candidate that's out there. So any other candidates, I just want to let you know, good luck. I wish everybody luck. Anybody who wants to do good.
Nice.
I hope that you guys make it. But other than that, good luck going against me in the primary because I'm the only one that's going to beat Norcross.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you very much for joining me tonight on the NJ1ST podcast. We had a great discussion, very long. I hope to have you back on because, to be honest, it's just as much practice for me as it is anyone else. I'm getting better at this, making content. Going to be making it all throughout 2024, all New Jersey, America First, maybe some Pennsylvania. Thanks for joining, Damon, and hope to have you back on. Where can people find you and your campaign?
If you go to votedamongaldo.com, click on the donate button, sign up with your email. I can't do this alone. My wife thinks I'm naive sometimes because she thinks I could save the world. And I said, no, I know I can. I need help, and inspire other people to do the same thing I'm doing. But
awesome.
Hopefully people look at this and they say, you know what? I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to try. So
awesome.
That's what we need.
Awesome. Well, if anyone's in Camden counties, Gloucester counties, or down there in Central Jersey, reach out to Damon. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later.